Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's B. Avery here again for another episode of Just My Opinion. And with this episode right here, it is another box office breakdown where we ran down the numbers, and I am very excited to jump into it all. So looking at the box office, we have two new releases. We have Crawl and we have Stuber. I have seen both of those films. You can go subscribe now and also check out both of those reviews if you like. But the cinema score for both of these films is a B+. It's not bad, but at the same time, it's not great either. Go check out my reviews. And if you look on Rotten Tomatoes right now, Stuber is at a 46% and Crawl is at a 88% right now. That is certified fresh. And I will go ahead and say that Crawl is the better film than Stuber in my opinion. So I do agree with the Rotten Tomatoes rating, which does affect the box office. But let's go ahead and look at the top 5 real quick to see if they made it in the top 5, and they did. But let's look at number 1 right now, which is Spider-Man Far From Home. Sony brought in another $45 million, $45,300,000. It had a 51.1% drop, which is pretty good, and it is in 4,600 theaters, 4,634 theaters in its second week of release. This is great because right now domestically it's at $274 million domestically, and internationally right now it is at $572 million, which makes it the most successful Spider-Man franchise internationally. It's beating Spider-Man 3, the Sam Raimi adapted film, which came out, what was it, 2007? It was $555 million, but this right now is beating it at $572, which right now has a worldwide total, Spider-Man Far From Home, at $847 million. And so is it going to be on track for $1 billion? Yes, it will make $1 billion. And if you're watching this, you probably already heard the news. And if you haven't, that it was some information that came out between Buena Vista Disney and Sony Pictures that own majority of the rights to this character, Spider-Man, that if this film does not, cross the $1 billion mark, that Marvel Studios Disney will not be able to co-produce a third film in the MCU. So it hasn't quite hit $1 billion yet, but it's a pretty much foregone conclusion that this film may hit $1 billion by the end of next weekend. This coming weekend, we have Hall H, San Diego Comic-Con, and then, these estimated numbers are going to be released that Sunday. So, it's going to be a big weekend, this coming weekend, or next weekend, however you like to look at it, as far as Spider-Man comes and the Marvel Phase 4. But Spider-Man is doing great now. While it's doing great internationally and worldwide, the film is going down as far as domestic sales when you compare it to the other Spider-Man films. If we look at Spider-Man, the original that came out in 2002, originally it made $403 million domestically. Then Spider-Man 2 made $373. Spider-Man 3 made $336. And then Spider-Man Homecoming made $334. So those are continue to go down. Right now, Spider-Man Far From Home is at $274. And so I think it's safe that it'll at least beat Spider-Man Homecoming, but we're not sure. And then if you look at the Amazing Spider-Man series with Andrew Garfield, the Amazing Spider-Man made $262 domestically, while the Amazing Spider-Man 2, the worst one in this whole series, made $202 million. I mean, this film nearly made that in its opening weekend, or its 6-day opening weekend. And then Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse was $190 domestically over its theatrical run. But, I hope at least Spider-Man Far From Home can beat Spider-Man Homecoming, because there still is a Spider-Man fatigue. Worldwide, no. Domestically, yes. I mean, it's still making money, but I still have people in my circles, and I know I may be in a bubble that just be like, how they still really haven't grasped this new MCU Spider-Man yet. Or even before this one came out, just like, how many Spider-Man movies? I'm not interested in a Spider-Man movie anymore. It's not that they don't care. They're just frustrated that they kept starting over. They're not like nerds and geeks like me and you. And, they kind of understand everything. But that's that as far as domestically is concerned. Now, worldwide, the highest grossing Spider-Man film was Spider-Man 3. It made $890 million. Spider-Man Homecoming was $10 million short of that at $880. But Far From Home right now is at $847. And like I said, I could pretty much much bet my bottom dollar that Spider-Man Far From Home will end up being the most successful Spider-Man film internationally, worldwide, and hopefully we can say, well, we won't be able to say domestically. It's not going to reach the $400 million that Spider-Man did in 2002, but at least hopefully it can beat Spider-Man Homecoming at $334 million. Let's go ahead and look at number 2 real quick. Another Disney film, or Pixar Disney art to be exact, and that is Toy Story 4. It's coming in at $20 million in this fourth weekend, $20,665,000. It had a 39% drop, so it's holding strong. Still in 4,210 theaters right now, and it dropped 330 theaters. And right now, worldwide, it is at $771 million. Domestically, 346. Foreigners 424, and I think the budget for Toy Story 4 was around $200 million. Let me try to just double check that real quick, because that is important when we're talking about all these box office numbers and things like that, because if film's not making money, they're not gonna make no more movies, you know what I'm saying? But yes, $200 million. So, we do the rule of 3 over here. A film has to make at least 3 times its production budget for the studios could possibly consider it a respectable profit, because at least a third of the box office sales, at least 33%, goes to the theater/theater owners. Then you subtract the production budget, then you subtract the marketing budget. And whatever you have left over is kind of your rough profit margin. But at the same time, the production budget, we already said it doesn't include marketing. It also doesn't include back-end deals. Which does not take, place every time on films, but, it can, especially like MCU films. Now, let's look at the Toy Story shootout as far as weekend to weekend is concerned. It lost its fourth weekend. If you're looking at the screen right now, which I'm sure you are, in the fourth weekend, Toy Story 3 made $21 million, while Toy Story 4 made $20 million. So this is a short difference, not even a difference of $1 million. But if you look right there, in this fourth weekend, Toy Story 3 was at $339 million, while Toy Story 4 is at $346. So it's not quite ahead of it that much yet. We'll just have to kind of see what happens in the coming weeks. Even when I look at the day-to-day right now, Toy Story 3 was winning last Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. It won Sunday today. And the reason why that's important is because, I'm just trying to see if this is on pace for it to make $1 billion. Because Toy Story 3 did. And if Toy Story 4 does not, in my opinion, well, of course it'll be a disappointment. You don't ever want the trajectory to go down as far as toys, your films are, when each film comes out, you want it to make more and more each time. You don't want it to make less and less. That would be bad. But I'm trying to check real quick to see if it's open in every territory around the world. And no, it has not. So Toy Story 4 are going to be fine internationally, at least. It just opened. Let me make sure I'm looking at the right movies. It's Toy Story 4? Yes, it's Toy Story 4. Okay, so the good thing is that it's July 14th right now. So it just opened in Hong Kong and Japan this weekend. It opens in Slovakia, Lithuania, and Poland August 8th and 9th. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11 films that it hasn't opened in. We got some opening in August, 2 in September, 1 in November, 1 in December, and 1 in January in Tanzania, in January in Togo. I honestly don't know where's Togo at. I have an idea in my head, but I don't want to say it out loud and sound like a dummy. Togo, a West African nation on the Gulf of Guinea, excuse me. So yeah, it's opening there. Where is it at? It is opening there in December. Is that correct? Yeah, December 15th. So, and that's important to me because when I'm looking at this chart right now, the shootout, Toy Story 3 grossed $651 million internationally, while right now internationally Toy Story 4 is only at $424 million. So that's like a little more than $200 million less, which is a lot of bread. You know what I'm saying? And if it's open in all of its territories around the world, that would be bad. But it has, like I said, 11 territories. Not saying that each territory is like China or something like that would make just buku money like that. But of course, every dollar does help. Going ahead and is there anything else I'm gonna cover on that one? No. But going ahead and looking at number 3 right now in the top 5 is the new releases Crawl. It opened to $12 million. Right now it is in 3,100 theaters by Paramount. Like I said, in its first week of release, its budget is only I don't know. I don't like saying only when something is millions of dollars. But its budget, well, compared to, I guess, other films you can, like Toy Story, $200 million budget. This film, the budget was $13.5 million. So $13.5 million times 3 is $40.5 million. So that's what this film will need to make worldwide for the studios to consider it a respectable profit. And let's see. I just want to see real quick, has it opened around the world? And just see what those dates are real quick. I really did enjoy the film, guys. You guys to go check it out. Oh, yeah, this has a F-ton of territories. Like half of its territories are open in August. And even the rest of July. So this has a lot of room to make money. So big ups to Crawl, because it does deserve it. And if you go see it, you know, I think you will have a good time. I think it's worth your money. Going ahead and looking at number 4 real quick is Stuber. First week of release, Fox / Disney film. It brought in $8 million, $8,043,000. It is in 3,050 theaters right now. The production for Stuber was $11 million. So this needs to make $33 million worldwide. I don't know. I know that's right in my head, but for some reason my mind is playing tricks on me, and I don't think that's right. But yeah, wait, no, 11 times 3 is not 0, so I must have clicked something wrong. Yeah, 30. It needs to make 33 million. Domestically, it made 8 million so far. Foreign, it made 3 million. Go check out the film because I think it's. I had a good time. The Rotten Tomatoes score sucks for it, in my opinion. But, you know, to each his own. It has a lot of territories that it hasn't opened in as well either. Later on this month in July, all the way to August, September. Yeah, no, all the way to November or whatever. And then closing out the top 5 real quick is Yesterday. Another film that I've seen is its third week of release. It brought in $6.7 million. It dropped 32%. It actually went up 141 theaters, so that's great. It is at it's at $80 million right now, which is great. So it has made money because it only needed to make $78 million, and it's made $80 million. So it's a great film by Universal. Think you guys will have a good time with that one too. Now, even though this is not in the top 5, let's just go ahead and look at the top 10 real quick. Number 6 is Aladdin at $5.8 million. I'll come back to that. Number 7 is Annabelle Comes Home at $5.5 million. Number 8 is Midsummer at $3.5 million. The Secret Life of Pets 2 is $3.1 million, and Men in Black International is coming in at number 10 at $2.2 million. Now, I have a review on my channel for all of these films except for The Secret Life of Pets 2. But let's look at Aladdin. It only dropped 21.9%. This film is just doing freaking fantastic. It brought in another $5.8 million, $5,873,000. It is still in 2,500 theaters, and it is in its 8th week of release. And right now, worldwide, it is at $960 million freaking dollars. Will it hit $1 billion? Will it join the $1 billion club? I hope freaking so. I think it will. I really do think it will. I know that it has opened in all of its territories around the world because I've talked about that in previous box office videos. I believe the last territory that it opened in was in Japan. And I want to say that was either June 4th or July 4th. Both dates which have passed, of course, by now. But yeah, that actually was June 7th. In Japan. So it is open in all of its territories right now, but the film is doing fantastic. It had a $91 million opening. This is the most successful film on Will Smith's filmography and his whole entire career. So that's pretty dope too. It beat what was the most successful? Was it Independence Day? I think it was Independence Day. If I'm wrong, please let me know in the comments. But let's look at the live action reimaginings for Aladdin, or Disney, excuse me. Domestically, of course, we still have Beauty and the Beast up there at number 1 at $504 million. Then we have Aladdin right now at number 4 at $331 million domestically. I believe it will surpass Alice in Wonderland. Will it pass the Jungle Book domestically? I don't know. We're just going to have to see. Maybe not. I don't think it will pass The Jungle Book, but I'm confident it will pass Alice in Wonderland. Dumbo's down there, Dumboing it up at number 9 at 114 domestically. And then if we go down even further, looking at the worldwide for these live action reimaginings, of course, Beauty and the Beast is number 1 at $1.2 billion. And Aladdin is right there, man, at that $960 million. I think it will pass The Jungle Book worldwide. It only, needs $6 million more. And with these holes, we'll see when The Lion King comes out. But I think it may even pass Alice in Wonderland worldwide. We're just gonna have to see. Now, something that is not in the top 10, but of course everybody's. Well, I don't know if everybody, but at least I am. Is still covering this, and that is. Well, no, hold on, real quick. John Wick is still number 13. Shout out to John Wick. $313 million worldwide. Sorry. Okay, Avengers Endgame is not number 13. It's number 12. It brought in another $1.6 million. It had a 45% drop. It's in its 12th week of release, guys. So right now, it is sitting at a worldwide total of $2.7 billion. Why did I say it like that? $2,780,000. For some reason, I don't know how to read. $2,780,800,139. Guys, this is $7.1 million away from passing Avatar. Are you serious? It's just so close now. I wanted to make it. I'll be mad if it. Well, I really won't be mad. I don't know why I said that or I was about to, but I mean, damn, this is just so close. You know what I'm saying? It's like films don't reach this height ever. Every 10 years. The next film that has a capability of beating this is Avatar 2, or freaking Avengers 5. You know what I'm saying? Or just another anomaly that comes out of nowhere that nobody's expecting. This is insane. I didn't think it was. I don't know. I didn't think it was going to get this close last week. But yeah, to be exact, guys, $7,164,948 is how short it is. I don't know, man. I mean, with it making $1.6 million, this past weekend, I just don't see how it can do it. I mean, I would like it to, but I just don't, because the first weekend it had 58% drop first weekend, 57%, 52, 42, 26, 53, 39. I mean, this past weekend it dropped another 45%. If it just keeps dropping 45%, and I mean, it'd be different if it was 20 and 20% like Aladdin, but it just doesn't have any more left. I mean, if it drops, it's gonna make maybe $1 million next week, or 900,000, 800,000. I don't know. I mean, I would like to see that headline. I mean, I really would, just for grins, just for S's and grins. S's mean shits. Sorry, Mom. But yeah, I just don't. I don't. Even when I look at the weekend, I don't know, guys. I just don't know. But let's look at the top films for 2019. Of course, we have Avengers Endgame domestically at 851. Captain Marvel is at 426. Toy Story 4, is number 3. Aladdin is number 4. Top 4 films, or Disney. The top 5 is kind of Disney Marvel. Disney Marvel, of course. Disney Marvel Sony in a way. So we got The Lion King coming out next week. So that's going to be in the top 5 eventually. Then we're going to have Star Wars later on this year. Disney going to have all like 6, 7, 8 films and, top categories domestically in 2019, which is freaking crazy. Let's go ahead and look at the worldwide for 2019. Again, top 3 films are Disney. Top 4 in the top 5 are Marvel. But that is Avengers Endgame. Aladdin is up there. Aladdin is up there. That's just freaking crazy. That's Disney is just making all kinds of buku money right now. But next week, guys, we have not Aladdin coming out, but The Lion King coming out. I have not seen the film. I know the review embargo has lifted. There was just not an opportunity for me to see it in Dallas, but the projections are looking at this film to be making around $200 million. It already made $54 million in China. So that's great. And is there anything else opening this coming week besides The Lion King? No, nothing worth mentioning in my opinion. But guys, that is just my opinion of the box office breakdown this week for Stuber, Crawl, Spider-Man Far From Home, Aladdin, Toy Story 4, all that good stuff. What do you think about my breakdown? What do you think about the box office in general? Please let me know down in the comment section below. Let's get this conversation going and keep it flowing. If you like this video, go ahead and give me the thumbs up. If you don't, that's fine. Please still subscribe to my channel and look me up on social media. My guys, I just want to thank you again for tuning in to my opinion / review / breakdown of these box office numbers. And before you go, don't forget that my name is Brandon Keith Avery, and that's just my opinion. Peace.